Yeah.
Hey everybody, it's Heather Novak here, and I am with a very special and incredible person, Kellen Knight. And I'm so excited to be sharing with you Kellen's story. It is truly miraculous, both how we met and the story that Kellen is going to share with us in a minute. We were both at a coffee shop in town and happened to sit in the same room with each other. And I was there working, so I was like typing an email to my people. And Kellen had just gotten off the phone, and we got on started a conversation. And literally, what I was typing in my email were the exact words that were like coming out of her mouth. So it was this really bizarre start to our friendship because like literally what I was typing, she started talking the same exact words. And so I knew that the universe wanted me to like shut my computer and listen to this beautiful woman. And then the story that she told me from there was just so incredible. And yeah, so I wanted to hop on with Kellen today, which is the day after her anniversary of a major accident. How many years has it been now, Kellen?
3 years. 3 years.
3 years.
Yeah.
So I want you just to jump in and tell us your amazing, miraculous journey to healing and everything that happened to you.
Okay. Well, thank you, Heather. It seriously was amazing how we met. I couldn't believe it. I walked away that day thinking, what just happened? That's exactly what I love about life is the beautiful people that cross our paths. And so it's very much an honor to be here and to share my story because it was a very challenging time in my life on every level. And so for me, my whole goal, I guess, throughout it was that I could one day share my story with people in order to inspire them and to maybe, if it even gives just the littlest, glimpse of hope and strength for whatever we're going through, that's what makes it worth it. That's what makes those years of I guess they say pain and suffering. So for lack of better word, I'll say that, but makes it worth it. So I'm really happy to share. But yes, my name is Kellen. And, just to kind of preface a little background form of the accident is, I always grew up an athlete. I grew up on a ranch. And so lots of room to play and run. And so always grew up running and, always really self-aware. I've always journaled as far back as I can remember. I was writing in a diary, had a deep prayer life and a really healthy lifestyle. In about 2014, I picked up cycling. And so I really fell in love with cycling. And I was living in Albuquerque, New Mexico at that time and was really getting into racing. I was really excited to start a race career. Had a great team and beautiful friends that supported me. And so I was really eager to ride my bike. So one morning in February, actually Friday, February 13th, in 2015, I was out one morning on my road bike and I was going down a hill about 30 miles per hour, first thing in the morning. And a man in a Ford F-150 made a left-hand turn in front of me. And so right in my path. And as you can guess, I didn't have time to stop. And the last thing I remember thinking was, this is it. This is my time. And that must have been when I hit the back of his pickup bed. And, the next thing I knew, I was maybe gaining consciousness for a moment lying on the street. And then I gained consciousness in the back of the ambulance briefly. And then just like in the movies, I woke up, staring straight at the ceiling, a bright light above me. I was intubated. I was in a neck collar. Had no idea where I was, how I got there. And then my friends were at my bedside saying, Kellen, we're here. And so that was a big, huge change in my life. I went from being very healthy, very fit. My life in my mind was perfect. I had a job I enjoyed. I had friends. I was had only been living in this place for about a year. Everything was new. I had this race career that I was looking forward to. And then literally lights out. And I can remember, I shared this with Heather as well. I remember, probably maybe a year later after my accident, I can remember the scene of the accident when I was lying on the pavement. I can remember standing away and seeing myself on the pavement, and there was like a presence beside me. Broad shoulders and taller. I don't know, maybe if it was an archangel or not quite sure. And I don't need to know what it was. But I remember saying to, I think it was a hymn, but just saying out loud, saying, no, I can't go. I can't leave her. I can't leave her. And so, again, actually about 6 months ago, I remember, again, watching my body. I was, again, that presence was beside me and I was standing there and I looked, or what was happening was like they were moving my body from the stretcher to like a table, like an operating table, like in like an ER probably, I guess. And at first I thought, oh, this is just me remembering before a surgery because I'll explain later, but I had several surgeries. But I thought, oh, maybe they're moving me in an operating room. And then I thought, no, because what was happening in my memory was it was very urgent. It wasn't as calculated. It was very busy. It was urgent. It was a little bit frantic. Where in the OR, as I've learned, it's very, very laid back. It's like, hey, did you watch the game last night? Yeah, like we'll check these things on her. And it was not like that in my memory. And I think, again, I was watching myself out of body. And, I kind of realized as I reflect on that I think I was given the choice to go or to stay. And I mean, to remain in my physical body or to not remain in my physical body. And I must have made a conscious choice because here I am. And so I guess I chose to stay. And so, like I said, this is where I am. So my injuries, yeah, go ahead, Heather.
No, it's so moving and I cry every time I hear the story. So you have this accident, this crazy out of body experience, you wake up in the hospital, and here's where the journey really starts for you, right? Like now is when you go through the most incredible transformation of your life. And so can you tell us a little bit about like your journey in the hospital and your healing and like what that brought you to?
Yeah, so my injuries were pretty severe. I had 5 broken thoracic vertebrae, and one of them was a what they call a burst fracture. So I had my T4 was actually, part of my T4 was protruding into but not compressing my spinal canal. So luckily I wasn't paralyzed, but that was a concern. Every, however, at least morning and night, I think, neuro was in there, press on my hand, pull on my hand, that kind of thing, squeeze my fingers. So that was my thoracic injuries. I had also tore a ligament in my thoracic spine, and my cervical, I had my C3 and my C4 sustained damage that would later be hypertrophic. And I had a little bit of stenosis in my cervical spine. I had 2 brain bleeds on the right side, and a massive hematoma on my right temple. And then the worst injury, I think, was probably my jaw was broken, bilateral break. I had a break here and here. So just snapped it in 2. And then what we found out when we got into the OR on Monday, I was admitted Friday the 13th, and Monday the 16th, we had to repair my jaw, was that it was shattered on the right side. So if you think about a bottle, if you were to throw a glass bottle down, it's basically what happened on the inside of my jaw. So I was in the hospital a week, and I went home in a full thoracic brace. So from my hips to my jaw, I was in a neck brace. So obviously I couldn't chew, and so I for 2.5 years I was on a liquid or soft food diet.
2.5 years.
2.5 years, yeah.
Wow.
Couldn't chew. I ended up, one of my procedures, I had 7 teeth extracted, or 6 teeth. So I had a total of 7 teeth extracted from my mouth, so I couldn't really chew. And my jaw was broken, and I hadn't, for a few years. Anyway, so I left the hospital, and I was under 24/7 care for 8 weeks. I was in my thoracic brace for 6. And so I went from, being able to ride my bike 250 miles a week and do strength training and things of that nature to I couldn't get myself out of bed. I couldn't turn the knob on the sink. I couldn't bathe myself. And of course, I couldn't eat. It's really, really hard to heal your body when you're not getting calories. I was eating out of a syringe for, I think, 2 weeks. And then I graduated to a spoon, and I was able to slowly eat off of a spoon. I just couldn't open my mouth much, so it was a challenge. But I lost about 30 plus pounds. So I was down to absolute skin and bones. And I remember when I got my thoracic brace taken off, I went home, and that was a brace. I was in a thoracic brace at all times, unless I was lying down, and then I was in a neck brace. So I couldn't move my neck at all. So for 6 weeks, I was just straight ahead. I couldn't move my neck. So complete muscle atrophy in my neck and back, muscle atrophy in my throat, my mouth, my tongue. And so swallowing was a huge chore. Eating was nearly impossible. But I was down to skin and bones. I remember I took my thoracic brace off, and I got home, and I looked in the mirror, and I looked in the mirror naked, and all I saw was, I could see like every bone in my body. And so it was crazy. But so when I was in my brace, I had to lie flat on my back on the bed, and I had gotten a twin bed in my living room to borrow, so my caretaker could maybe sleep in my bed, or my brother slept on the couch beside me when he came to take care of me. But I had friends coming in from all over the U.S. for a week at a time to take care of me. They did everything for me. They woke up every 4 hours and gave me my pain medicine, got me out of bed, put my brace on, bathed me. Really, really amazing experience to just be stripped down to not being able to do anything for yourself. Very, very humbling. And you're just like, you know what? I don't even care. Like, I can't do it. Like, I have to rely. I have to receive.
Yeah.
It was beautiful. And just the love that they gave to me. One night or maybe morning, I don't know. It was all the same. I slept back. And I know it was dark, so it might have been morning, early morning. I don't know. But I remember lying on my back, and I, staring up at the ceiling that I just memorized. I've laid on my back so much. But just thinking, I'm not running right now. I'm not working. I'm not cycling. I'm not reading. I'm not doing all these things that, identify with that I am a runner. I am this. Like, I'm not doing any of those things. And, I'm still alive. And so, like, what am I? Like, what are we? Like, who am I? Like, who am I? Because we get so attached to, these labels. I'm a mom, I'm a teacher, I am. And so I just remember thinking, like, what am I? Because I'm doing these things right now, but I'm still existing. And in my case, fortunately, my TBIs didn't affect my personality. Lying there thinking, my head injury could have given me a different personality. So I say, oh, I'm kind, I'm loving, I'm funny. But what if my brain would have been injured in a different way? And now I'm serious, and I'm mean or something. And so you just really realize, like, wow, like what you really think, like, what are we? Who are we? and that's kind of when I think I really began to go down that path of who are we, and just really, really became all too familiar with impermanence, and just realizing that, uh, things change. Things are always changing, and I began seeing a counselor that specialized in PTSD because I obviously did have PTSD, 90th percentile, go hard or go home. And she practices mindfulness, and that's what I began to practice with her. So over the course, I've been with her ever since April. As soon as I got my thoracic brace off, I was in her office every week, sometimes twice a week, for now almost 3 years, and began this journey of meditation and mindfulness, and it just really opened me up to recognizing what we have control of and what we don't. And I've just really grown, and seeing that, this whole time that I was going through this recovery, when I was in and out of the OR over the course of 2.5 years. I had 9 oral surgeries, 10 if you count the root canals. And then I had, and we have found an incidental finding on an MRI of my brain. We found a mass on my brain. So then I had a craniotomy in October 31st of 2017. So I've been in the OR a lot. But I just realized I was so grateful for everything. So grateful to be able to chew when I got my dentures, or my partial dentures, in October, and just so grateful to be able to breathe and to be able to walk on my own and bathe myself. I remember the first time I felt water on my face again in the shower and on my hair. I just wept because it was so amazing, and promised myself that I would never take those things for granted. But I realized on this journey, this journey of mindfulness, if that's what you want to call it, that we, sometimes we feel like we think we're in control of so many things. Like, I'm going to do this at 2, I'm going to go do this tomorrow, I'm going to do this, but really we aren't in control of anything, except ourselves, and luckily if we are, cognitively healthy, we can control what we do with our thoughts, or what we do, how we react and respond to situations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And so I just really began to see that, and really began this journey too of disattachment, because everything that was destroyed, my beautiful bicycle in that accident, that can all be replaced. And my body was even put back together, my jaw, and everything. And so, but I just really, thought, like, I'm not really that attached to material things anymore, because they can be replaced. And I just want to take care of my body and my mind. And I realized too, that everything that we really need, or that we've experienced in our lives up to this moment, is perfect, and it's really equipped us for whatever we're facing. So, when I hit that truck that morning, because technically I hit him, he didn't hit me. When I hit him that morning, I woke up, and that's, I started this journey of putting my face back together, my bones back together, my body back together, my muscles, my brain. The post-concussion syndrome is rough, and so just really realizing, emotionally, mentally, even physically, like everything I needed, I had, and I just really had to look deep inside myself.
Yes.
And I have amazing support around me. And so I had, my sisters, my brother, my parents, my loved ones, just supporting me to no end, all the time, encouraging me to keep going when I had those hardest days, when I felt like I just wanted to give up. But yeah, I just really feel as though, we really just have to look deep inside of ourselves, and we really need to fall in love with ourselves first.
Yes.
And see that we are worthy. we need to love ourselves. We need to be our own best friend. We need to talk to ourselves like we would talk to a best friend. We need to be gentle with ourselves, and be very mindful of our thoughts. And I really think that two emotions kind of drive our decisions and how we approach things. And I realized that we're really either operating out of fear or we're operating out of love. So I think a really good filter, really good question to ask ourselves when we're approaching a situation or we're responding or we're taking action or doing this or that. Am I operating out of fear right now? Am I making this decision because I'm afraid of something, afraid of someone's reaction, or am I operating out of love because I want this situation to be full of love?
It's so beautiful, Kellen. I mean, you've been through so much, and the strength that you have shown through all of this, like, whoa, sister. Whoa, it's amazing. And I think too, the most profound things, like when we met, when you were sharing with me in the coffee house that day, was like when you realize that like we are not our body, and like how just much more deep it goes, and how like infinite, and then the love, like that love, like how do you operate out of love, and what you're doing now, and like what you've come to in your life. Like, can you tell us a little bit about now what are you doing, and how are you sharing that new profound and incredible insight that this whole experience has given you?
Well, I've been really fortunate. I run into random people at coffee houses, and I just get to share my story. My boyfriend, we were on a bus. This is hilarious. I was in Peekskill visiting my brother, and I went into the city to took the train to the city and the bus to the airport. And I met him on the bus, and because we started talking about, I don't even know what, but it came up. That's how I won him over, was, my near death experience. It gets him every time, But no, so right now I just I'm still not able to work. I just had, like I said, a craniotomy in October. And so I'm just kind of getting back to being able to chew, getting back my physical strength and stamina. And so because it's really exhausting, 10 surgeries in 2 years, 8 months is a lot. They were invasive surgeries, and I had general anesthesia for every single one. That's a lot. And so right now I'm just kind of reflecting a lot and considering what I want to do, what I want to do when I'm able to work again. I feel as though I have a little bit different motivation and different ideas for what I want for my life and what I can share with others. And so, I recently was able to do my master Reiki training. And so I like to gift Reiki, and I like to, do Reiki for friends or for people that desire that for their lives. And I'm also going to be doing my yoga teacher training in Peekskill area.
Yay.
Yeah, the end of this month. And so I just really want to create options for myself. But, my goal really is to just, come across people like Heather, like you, that I can share my story with. If I can just, give something to someone and hear other people's stories, and just to support each other, because that's what we're all here for. We're all one. And that's another beautiful realization I came to, is that we are all one, and we all desire love, and we all desire to be loved. And what happens to one person, that happens to us. What happens to us happens to another person. We're all love. We're all one. And so just really just seeing that, collective consciousness and just loving each other, that's really what I want to do, So, yeah.
And I can feel it, and I just love you, and it's my honor and a true blessing to have met you and to know you and to just be starting this beautiful friendship with you. And so yeah. I am going to link your beautiful video. Kellen made a beautiful video about her healing journey. It's only a couple minutes long, so I'm going to link to that with this video as well. And then I'll also link to your Etsy shop. So if you guys want to support Kellen, and get some beautiful healing, Reiki healing energy. That's what Kellen does now. And she can do it remotely, so you can be anywhere. And she's such a beautiful soul and so gorgeous and so strong and such an inspiration. So I invite you guys to definitely check out the healing video because it's so moving. I cry every time I watch it. But it shows her strength and what she actually, like, how she got through this, which is, it's just unbelievable. And so thank you, Kellen. I am just sending you like a big, huge hug and love through the phone, through the video. Thank you so much for sharing this with us. And, and I can't wait to see you when you're here for your teacher training.
We'll see you soon.
Okay. Thank you, love. I'll see you soon.
Thank you.